Richard Smallwood, one of gospel music's most legendary voices, has left fans in shock. Just days before his funeral, a video surfaced, his final message to the world. And what he said has stunned the gospel community. Emotional, urgent, and deeply personal, this last video isn't just a farewell. It's a revelation that fans never expected. Questions are swirling. Hearts are breaking, and the gospel world is left grappling with a moment that feels both heartbreaking and haunting. What did Richard Smallwood say in his final message, and why is everyone talking about it? Richard Smallwood isn't just a name in gospel music. He's a living legend whose compositions, arrangements, and performances have shaped the genre for decades. From timeless classics like Total Praise to collaborations with the finest gospel choirs, Smallwood's music has uplifted millions, inspiring faith and hope in ways few artists can match. But now, the gospel world is mourning. The news of his passing has left fans, fellow musicians, and church communities reeling. And just as emotions were running high, a final video message from Smallwood emerged, one that has shocked and deeply moved viewers worldwide. This wasn't just a farewell. It was a message filled with urgency, reflection, and words that many are calling prophetic. In this video, we'll take you through the story of Richard Smallwood's final days, the funeral that brought together fans and gospel icons, and the last video message that has left everyone talking. You'll hear the exact words, understand the context, and see why so many people believe this moment will resonate for years to come. We'll also explore the impact of Smallwood's career, his influence on modern gospel music, and the reactions from fans and artists alike. By the end of this video, you'll have a full picture of the man behind the music, the heartbreaking loss, and the powerful message he left behind. Richard Smallwood's story begins long before the spotlight of gospel fame ever found him. Born with a natural gift for music, Smallwood showed extraordinary talent at a young age, learning piano and composition with a precision and passion that set him apart from his peers. Even as a child, his voice carried emotion far beyond his years, and those who heard him perform could sense that this was a talent destined for something greater. His early years were marked by dedication, discipline, and countless hours perfecting his craft. Smallwood attended Howard University, where he honed not just his technical skills, but also his deep understanding of gospel music's spiritual and emotional power. It was here that he began blending traditional gospel with classical influences, creating a signature sound that would later define his career. In the 1980s, Smallwood's talent truly began to gain national attention. Forming the Richard Smallwood Singers, he brought together vocalists who could match his vision and energy, creating arrangements that were innovative and deeply rooted in gospel tradition. Hits like Total Praise and I Love the Lord became anthems, not just songs. They were experiences, resonating with listeners in churches, concert halls, and recording studios worldwide. But Smallwood's journey wasn't just about music. He became a mentor to countless young artists, teaching them not just technique, but how to infuse faith and authenticity into every note. Many contemporary gospel singers cite him as a pivotal influence, crediting him with shaping the sound and spiritual depth of modern gospel music. Throughout his career, Smallwood received numerous awards, including Grammys, Stellar Awards, and multiple Dove Awards. Yet despite the accolades, he remained humble, often emphasizing that his purpose was ministry, not fame. His music was a vehicle to uplift souls, bring people closer to God, and provide comfort in times of hardship, a mission he carried with unwavering devotion until his final days. And yet, even a life as accomplished and inspiring as Smallwood's could not shield him from the realities of age, health challenges, and the ultimate fragility of life. This sets the stage for the moment that has captured hearts worldwide, the final video message that Smallwood left behind, a message filled with emotion, warning, and a reflection on the legacy he wanted to leave. The news of Richard Smallwood's passing sent shockwaves throughout the gospel world, and when the details of his funeral were announced, it quickly became one of the most anticipated and emotional gatherings in recent memory. Fans, fellow musicians, church leaders, and even those who had never met him in person flocked to pay tribute to a man whose music had been a guiding light for decades. The service was held in a packed venue that reflected the magnitude of Smallwood's influence. From the moment attendees arrived, it was clear that this would not be a standard funeral. It was a celebration of a life that had profoundly impacted countless people. Large floral arrangements, photos chronicling his career, and displays of his awards and honors created an atmosphere that honored both his artistic achievements and his spiritual legacy. During the service, the air was thick with emotion. Gospel choirs performed some of Smallwood's most beloved songs, their harmonies echoing through the hall and bringing attendees to tears. Total Praise, perhaps his most iconic piece, was performed with the same passion and precision that Smallwood himself would have demanded, a fitting tribute to his artistry and devotion. Every note carried not just music, but the weight of decades of ministry and inspiration. Family members, friends, and fellow gospel artists took the stage to share stories, reflections, and personal anecdotes. Many spoke about Smallwood's humility, his generosity, and his unwavering dedication to mentoring others. They recounted how he would take time to encourage young singers, provide guidance to struggling choirs, and remind everyone that music was a calling, not just a career. These heartfelt speeches offered a glimpse of the man behind the music, someone whose life was as rich in character as it was in achievement. One particularly moving moment came when several of Smallwood's protégés performed a medley of his hits, intertwining lyrics with personal tributes. Attendees reported feeling an overwhelming mix of grief and gratitude. Grief for the loss of a beloved figure, and gratitude for the timeless gifts he had left behind. The funeral became a place where sorrow and celebration coexisted, reflecting the duality of mourning a death while honoring a remarkable life. Yet, amid the tears and applause, there was another layer that made the event unforgettable: Smallwood's final video message, which had been played during the service. For many attendees, seeing and hearing him speak one last time was both surreal and deeply emotional. His words were not merely a farewell, it was a reflection, a warning, and a charge to continue the work of faith and music that had defined his life. And just when the service seemed to reach its emotional peak, the content of that final video left everyone in stunned silence. It was a message that challenged, inspired, and in some ways shocked the gospel community, raising questions about legacy, mortality, and the urgency with which we live our lives. Perhaps the most extraordinary and talked about part of Richard Smallwood's farewell was his final video message, which surfaced just days before or during the funeral service. Unlike most pre-recorded tributes that are gentle or comforting, Smallwood's message carried urgency, depth, and a raw honesty that left viewers stunned. Fans describe it as a moment that felt prophetic, emotional, and deeply personal all at once. In the video, Smallwood addressed his fans, fellow musicians, and the next generation of gospel artists directly. He began by expressing gratitude for the decades of support, love, and shared faith, acknowledging the countless people who had been uplifted by his music. But the tone soon shifted from celebration to reflection as he spoke candidly about life, purpose, and the inevitability of mortality. He emphasized the fleeting nature of time, urging viewers not to wait for a perfect moment to pursue their calling or express their faith. Smallwood's words were a wake-up call. Life is fragile, and every day is an opportunity to live fully in accordance with one's purpose. For many fans, hearing this from a man whose music had been a constant in their spiritual lives was both inspiring and deeply sobering. One of the shocking elements of the video was the candidness with which Smallwood discussed his own mortality. He didn't shy away from acknowledging his health, his age, or the reality that his time was limited. For a man who had spent decades lifting others, seeing him confront his own vulnerability with honesty was a powerful and emotional moment. It reminded viewers that even those who seem larger than life are human, facing the same uncertainties and fears we all do. Smallwood also took the opportunity to address the future of gospel music. He encouraged young artists to maintain integrity, passion, and spiritual authenticity, warning against the temptation to chase fame or compromise values for recognition. He reminded the next generation that gospel music is not merely a talent, but a ministry, a mission, and touching hearts with purpose. These words, while inspiring, also carried a sobering weight, a reminder that legacy is built not just on skill, but on commitment, faith, and authenticity. Perhaps the most poignant and jaw-dropping part of the message was when Smallwood reflected on the unseen struggles that come with a life of ministry. He spoke of sacrifices, personal challenges, and moments of doubt that he had faced quietly throughout his career. By revealing these vulnerabilities, he shattered the myth of perfection that often surrounds public figures, showing fans a side of him rarely seen, a man deeply human, yet unwavering in faith and devotion. As the video concluded, Smallwood's final words were a mixture